Hello
Hello there.
there. Kyle Katarn here,
And the Bendu.
coming back for another reaction to The Bad
That's
Batch.
right, episode 12.
Shout out to Nerd Chronic for editing this reaction for us and sneaking it past the Disney blockade.
Yes, the
And
full
episode
schedule.
11 was a banger. We got the Zillow Beast, man. We got Scorch again, Republic Commando action, and we got all kinds of like unveiling of what is going on behind the scenes with the secret cloning tech.
Well,
A
kind
lot
of.
of
I
plot
mean, not
development, if you
necessarily. We
will.
definitely got like little teasers of things that are being hinted towards, even more so with the Snoke Palpatine tanks. We
The
didn't
breadcrumb
directly see
trail.
it, but we are definitely building that way, that direction.
Hell yeah, man. The Zillow Beast was awesome. That was a great callback to the Clone Wars. And now I'm just cracking up thinking about Hunter telling Rex that they saw a Zillow Beast and Rex just getting like a full-on PTSD flashback of all the shit that he went through on Coruscant. Like,
Dude, the fact that you
oh
were
God, you
able,
guys saw Zillow Beast? Like, what the hell? Not
yeah,
again.
the fact that you were able to call out from the beginning that it was going to be a Zillow Beast, whereas I didn't recognize that shit at all.
Oh, dude, you could tell it was a Zillow Beast because of the way it is, you know?
But this episode, I don't know. There's a lot of hope that it's going to be a crosshair centric episode. That because he's been missing this
I
entire season.
we are. I think it's safe to say we're overdue for a crosshair centric episode. You know what I mean? He's been missing for a while now. Cody's not the only one that's AWOL from the show. But we just recently, this last weekend, were at Emerald City Comic Con here in Seattle, and we got to go to the Clone Wars panel with Ashley Eckstein, James Arnold Taylor, Matt Lanner, and D. Bradley Baker. And while we were in the audience, D. Baker said that this episode we're about to watch, episode 12, The Outpost, has his, quote, favorite new clone in it. Which really has me thinking, like, does he mean a brand new clone we've never seen before? Are they new to the Bad Batch? Is it just his new favorite after this episode? I don't know, but I'm very hyped. Like, I really want to know what he's talking about here. And also that tells me that we're going to at least get some clones in this episode. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, right. Clone
It would be
centric
really
show.
difficult to do an episode of the Bad Batch with no clones.
Well, with outside clones that aren't the batch, right? Like to get some of the
Well,
old
sure,
people
but that's still
in
D.
there,
Bradley
which is still
Baker, you
great.
know?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's still the benefit of having outside characters.
Yes. There's a whole galaxy full of them out there. If they need a new clone, just give us a new shiny, easy to do. Who do you think they're going to hire to track down Omega now that that's the plan? Do you think it's going to be Crosshair? Is it going to be Scorch or another commando? Or like, what if, and this is a crazy thought that I just had, what if they hire a bounty hunter to track her down and it's Boba Fett, her brother?
If
And
anything, it
that's
would
how they
probably be
meet.
Cad Bane because Cad Bane's already had previous experience with working
That's
with
true. That's true.
the
So has Fennec
Empire.
Shand.
That's true, but Fennec Shand fucked up, and the Geonosians are the one that hired Fennec Shand in the first place. No, they hired. Who hired Cad Bane? Was it the Geonosians, or did the Geonosians hire both Fennec and Cad Bane? I don't remember because it's been so long.
No, Fennec was hired by Nala Se.
That's right. Okay.
Fennec was hired by Nala Se to get Omega back, which is the perfect Nala segue into our Patreon poll question. Huh? Okay, so we asked you guys, why do you think Omega is so important to Nala Se? First of all, Bendu, why do you think she's so important to Nala Se?
Because genetically, she's a hard drive. She is she's like she's the last remnant of the initial, DNA sample that made all the
She's the
clones.
last like good genetic sample. Sure. You don't think it's anything to do with like a bond between them. You think it's
Nope.
science.
Yep.
She wants that genetic material. It's valuable.
Hmm.
I think you're right. I agree with that. Jay says, this is just a crazy theory, but maybe Nala Se used part of her own DNA to make Omega be female. And in that case, Nala Se sees Omega as her own daughter.
Nope.
You're right. That is a crazy theory. I don't think that's how it's going to play out, though. Aiden Pullen says, I think it's largely the simple fact that Nala Se was Omega's guardian, and they share a pretty strong connection. On a less familial side, it's probably because Omega may represent some pretty serious breakthroughs in cloning technology, and Nala Se knows what the Empire is capable of and does not want Omega and that knowledge falling into their hands.
That's true.
That's
Too.
fair. That's more along the lines of what you were saying, that it's all about like the genetic material contained within her that's valuable, more so than Omega the individual. Brandon Curtis says Omega may be the last readily available pure genetic material of Django's. I don't fully buy the parental connection. Pessimist, I know, but Kaminoans never felt like hugging people.
Nope.
Yeah, that's fair. They are kind of cold and clinical and very, very objective, very removed from things.
Because when you're a community that's based on cloning, they've had to do like cloning their own species. They become
Yes.
quickly detached from their own creations, especially when you're having to sell to other planets and other people.
Totally. They're such science based, like their whole culture is based around the science. It's like the massive industry of their civilization that they all are kind of cold and analytical and very clinical in how they approach other people. And Nala say specifically, like, if you remember like the Fives arc in the Clone Wars, she was so cold to him. I
Because they're
don't think
just
that she's got
product.
any sort of
They're
warm,
just
fuzzy
product.
feelings for Omega. Spencer Thurman says, I think the obvious answer is she's very close to her and kind of thinks of her as a daughter figure. We know she cares a lot about her. What do I want the answer to be? I want Omega to be her top successful project where she was able to use midichlorians to clone the Force into her, which would line up to why Nala Se is so important to the Emperor's future cloning projects. I definitely think we're headed that way. The Emperor, Exegol, cloning midichlorians. I think that's kind of where this is all headed, but I don't think Nala Se made that breakthrough. Maybe she tried. Maybe Omega was an attempt at that. I will give you that. But I don't think the mother-daughter connection thing is there. I think that people are reading that into there because with normal individuals, yeah, it might be there. But Nala Se is a scientist and also a sociopath. So
Yeah, if anything, Omega is just an heirloom.
Tristan Milner thinks, as others have mentioned, she's the same as Boba, only far easier to get than Boba, who is making a name for himself as a bounty hunter. The former Kaminoan senator's reaction to Omega prior to her testimony has made me rethink if Nala Se does have some feelings for Omega beyond a project that she's kept close to her chest. Halle Bertoni is like, has her own individual views of the Kaminoans and we've already seen from the last episode that her views are not shared by Nala Se. Nala Se was pissed that the Empire destroyed their civilization and is unwilling to work with anybody.
Yep.
Halle Bertoni was like, I don't care about the other Kaminoans, like, whatever. Senator Bertoni sold out a long time ago, so.
I think she was still upset by the genocide of it, though.
Sure, I mean, it's an upsetting thing, but not enough for her to, like, for it to impact her decision-making in any way, you know what I mean? She's like, is what it is. Which is wild. You know, that's your civilization.
Well, she probably thinks that she's going to be killed off next anyway, so what's it willing to her to say anything?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. It's a hell of a position to be put into. Letitia Hallmark says, I'm not sure if Nala Se loves Omega in a mother-daughter relationship, but it's apparent she doesn't want Omega used for either Lamasu's or the Empire's purposes. I think it's more of a feeling of prizing and wanting to protect this social creation of hers, something only she thinks she can understand. Even being a pure genetic match to Django doesn't seem important enough for Nala Se to care that much. There's something different with Omega, besides being a girl, that we haven't thought of yet. We might know more if we really knew what the plan for her was, but I guess we'll have to wait to find out. I think Lamasu, though, is a creep, ready to sell everyone and anyone out, even more than Sid. But sorry, I'm going down a rabbit hole. No, I agree. Lamasu is definitely an opportunist. You could make the argument he sold out his people in the first place to start working with the Empire, to accept the cloning contract. But I don't know if you could have that kind of foresight to know that it was going to turn into this.
No, he just saw it as a really large paycheck.
Exactly. He was just trying to make some money. Toby Veach says, there's something about Omega we don't know yet, but Nala Se does. Nice. That's totally what Letitia was saying, too. I don't think it's a motherly thing. Nala Se doesn't have human emotions and doesn't consider clones to be anything but lab experiments. Yes, think Fives. She wants Omega to become whatever she was programmed to be before the Empire finds out about her. You think Omega could be like the last revenge of the Kaminoans somehow?
Well, I think there might be like some weird genetic code or tracer that was probably left in her that like is the secret key to like how the Kaminoans were able to make such amazing clones. And without knowing that, that keyword that's in her own genetic code, they're not going to be able to replicate the process. They being the Empire.
That sounds plausible to me.
Process.
They need her to continue the process because Kamino,
or at
all
least
the cities were destroyed.
Well,
because all the cities and the tech was destroyed, she's the only place where that sample exists now. Totally. So if they want to restart cloning anything, they're going to need her to do it. I mean, it's ambitious if they think they're getting out of here to do any cloning, you know? Jackson says, I think Omega is much more than just a friend or child of Nala Se. I wouldn't be surprised if she was some Republic experiment that Nala Se grew to care for and then decided to take under her wing. That is possible, but again, that's implying that Nala Se has like these warm feelings for Omega or any sort of like a fondness. And I think it's all clinical. I think it's all cold, you know? Reese Hart says, I think she's important for Nala Se, but not in a daughter-like relationship, but because of something important to do with her work. It feels like Omega is special, but we still don't really know why. And I will never trust Kaminoans, especially around clones. Yeah, that's fair. They've earned that. I don't trust Kaminoans either. I don't like them. I consider them like bad guys, but at the same time, like watching the Bad Batch and seeing everything that's happened to them, I really want them to get some sort of revenge on the Empire.
That's true.
Even if they're going to all get completely eliminated, let them go out with a bang and like get the last laugh somehow. That would be really satisfying, I think. Connie Sang says, I have no idea, but I can't wait to see how Omega controls Nala Se. Nala Se did help Omega escape in Season 1, and I always felt like it wasn't just about caring for a clone. Interesting. You think that the influence goes both ways and that Omega has some way of like manipulating Nala Se or straight up controlling her? Maybe that has to do with her unknown clone ability that we don't know about yet, you know? Because Omega's super intuitive, so if she spent all this time as Nala Se's assistant, she was also learning Nala Se and what makes her tick. And she totally could, like, influence her in subtle ways, probably. That's a really interesting thought. And our last comment is from Promax Media. I think they just became close during their time together on Kamino, and Nala Se feels responsible for raising Omega, which makes her protective. She probably sees Omega as a daughter/niece. It seems like people are pretty split. People either think that, oh, she's a science experiment, she represents hard work, and they want her back for the genetic material, like you're saying, or Nala Se loves her, she's her daughter, which is the other option. I think that's less plausible, but it's not impossible. Who knows? You know, we've been surprised before. Only one way to find out. Are you ready, best friend? Do it!
Already, I like the music.
All right, Coruscant.
There
Crosshair, there you are, finally.
CT-9904. You're out of uniform.
Who's this?
I'm Lieutenant Nolan, your commanding officer for this mission.
Lieutenant Nolan.
Fantastic. More clones.
Problem, sir.
I don't like used equipment.
Oof.
That's fucked up.
Let's go.
That's super fucked up.
Just driving home for Crosshair that you guys are objects to the Empire.
What high cost?
Really digging the music.
I know. I'm trying to think of like what high cost valuables could be on a frozen tundra. Well, I guess it's not a tundra; it's just mountainous.
You got the ship.
This officer's a dipshit. God, the animation's so good. The little bits of snow beating up on his helmet. Fucking ice vulture.
Birds?
Oh, interesting. They're like KX droids. They're like an earlier model.
Where is your supervisor?
We expected you 36 rotations ago.
Who's this?
I am in charge here until the cargo is transported.
I feel safer already.
You speak to me with respect.
In my experience, respect is something to be earned.
Yet the Empire assigned you to this desolate rock.
Tell me, Lieutenant, how many missions have you commanded?
This dick.
The name's Mayday.
Mayday.
Mayday?
Crosshair. Welcome to the Outpost.
Oh, Crosshair's making a friend.
With a normie.
I'll give you a lay of the land.
Oh, dude, the wrapped helmet is dope. That's a great look.
Who's been attacking the depot?
Locals. Raiders.
How did they bypass the sensors?
I requested replacements, but got none. Yet we're
I
told
think Crosshair suspects that Mayday has been helping the Raiders.
don't go far. You'll freeze to death in that armor. Unless what's in the ice kills you first.
What's out there? Besides the ice vultures.
I find a way to survive.
Commander, Raiders spotted inside the perimeter.
Oh shit, okay. Mayday is what Dengar wishes he looked like. Oh shit! Damn, Crosshair, that keeps happening to you. You keep looking at really bright stuff down his scope. Did he get him? Crosshair doesn't miss. I think he got him. Yeah, he got him.
But he's still alive, though.
He hit him, though. God, the snow looks so good.
Yeah, it does. And that blood footprint. The fact that they're showing us blood in the first place.
Those raiders stole 2 crates of cargo during that attack. Send your troops to retrieve it.
Hex and Veach were killed. We don't have the manpower or gear for a mission beyond the...
Does that make him the last one left?
Yep.
This task falls to you two, and you two alone. Recover the cargo.
Yes, Lieutenant.
Damn. He's pulling a Denethor. He's just trying to get them killed at this point. Is this the raider that they shot?
Probably froze to death.
Not sure what bothers me more. That he's wearing armor stolen off my men, or that his cohorts just left him here.
No point in carrying dead weight.
Remind me not to die on your watch.
Seriously. Crosshair will 100% leave you behind.
Pressure mine. What were you saying about dead weight?
Do you know how to disarm it?
I wish I had the proper equipment for this.
Is he just gonna put a staple in it?
I guess I'll...
Just going to keep the pressure down on it so he can remove his foot. That's smart.
Better than trying to find, like, a rock that weighs as much as Crosshair.
Combat troopers stuck babysitting cargo shipments.
Mission's a mission.
Yeah, I used to say the same thing. That should do it. Whoa, 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 don't pick up your foot yet. Wait until I tell you, then lift it. I'll wait around the bend. If I don't hear a boom, then I'll know it worked.
I like Mayday. Well done.
Watch them step on another one.
I know, right? Oh, what do we got over there?
Nice. Interesting. They're like
Nice.
Instead of sand
Self-kills.
people, they're like snow people.
I actually really like their design. And you're totally right. They totally are like the snow equivalent of Tusken Raiders.
Ooh.
Oh, shit. And a chase. Oh, nope, you got him. Mayday, no!
Shoot out.
What the hell? You guys scanned like 6 people on the mountain. Now there's like 25?
There you go. There you go.
There it is. Oh, shit. Avalanche?
Cave in.
I mean, yeah, with that much snow everywhere, you think they'd be concerned about avalanches.
We've been risking our lives to recover equipment we could have been wearing this whole time.
It's not clone trooper gear.
It's for the new TK troopers.
New toys for the shiny new military. And we get the scraps. After all the clowns have done, we're good soldiers. We followed orders. And for what?
Yeah, Crosshair. For what?
Yeah, right? Oh.
Oh
Avalanche.
god, what's in the ice?
Fucking avalanche.
It is an avalanche. It's Saruman!
He's trying to bring down the mountain.
Get to the rock! Damn, Crosshair totally just saved his life.
Shit's terrifying.
Whoa, look at that. It's a gorgeous shot. Where's Mayday? Oh no.
Oh, that was just the rock? I thought that was
Yeah,
the
no,
bottle.
he's buried under there somewhere.
Shit. Come on, Mayday.
Mayday, wake up.
Go. I won't make it.
After what he said about dead weight, this is it. This is the moment that he realizes that you can't live that way. Good for you, Crosshair. You're doing the right thing.
From an avalanche, that's like broken ribs, internal bleeding.
Come on, you can do it.
Dude, he's gonna lose his ears to fucking frostbite.
Yeah, I know, right? God, that wind must be so biting. The music and visuals have just been top-notch this episode.
Using the rifle like a crutch.
Left out in the cold, literally, by the Empire. Like, I'm gonna be really upset if he just goes back to them after this. Here come the Imperials to pick up their fancy new TK armor. This fucking guy, they're gonna get in trouble for not bringing the crates back after everything they went through.
Get back to work and load those crates. All of you.
Dude, what if? Oh god.
And because they're not clones, they don't care either.
About time you two returned.
This fucking guy.
He needs a medic.
Certainly not. That would be a waste of the
Bro.
Empire's resources.
He'll die.
This is it. This is the moment Crosshair snaps. No, Mayday! God, I really liked him.
You could have saved him.
Perhaps you didn't hear me. He is expendable,
You're an idiot, dude.
as are you.
You don't know who you're talking
his
to.
His teeny tiny little fucking nose.
I'll see to it you meet a similar fate, clone.
Beat his ass. He just threatened you. He was a good soldier, Crosshair. He followed orders. Look where he ended up. Damn.
Watch him just shoot him.
I'm half expecting that. Oh no, is he really gonna do it? Crosshair! Welcome back, dude!
What the fuck?
You can't collapse now. You can't. The TK troopers are gonna take you out.
They're already gonna do that.
No, Crosshair's about to take them all out. No! No way. That's not the end?
Hello, CT9904. Or do you prefer Crosshair?
Oh my god, they took him to Tantus.
Remain calm. Cooperate, and you might survive.
Cooperate with what?
Death
Is this the
Trooper.
Dark Trooper program, dude? Yeah, they're gonna drug him up, try and reprogram him, and use him to hunt down Omega. That's what's gonna happen.
As a Death Trooper.
Dude. Oh, if they do that, that's going to be so tragic, though, because he finally, like, came to his senses. Oh, man. That was an incredible episode. That was easily one of my favorite episodes of the series so far.
I don't know if I could say that, but I think this is definitely a good turning point for the show.
No, I thoroughly
Definitely.
enjoyed that. I thought the music and the visuals were just insane. I mean, it's giving us a really good picture of where the show's headed for sure. But like, I don't know, man, it really makes me empathize with Crosshair in ways that like I never have. I've never really had that much sympathy for him. Like he's made his own choices, but now it's like if he's forced back into that role against his will after having made that change of heart, that's just going to be tragic. So, what are they doing to him on Tantus? You know, I think he's being conditioned to hunt down Omega. That's what makes the most sense. But what if it is a Dark Trooper program thing, and he's going to lose his humanity and his identity altogether? You know,
That's what I'm thinking.
I hope not. Poor Crosshair.
I mean, in order to change the mind of a complete sociopath, you kind of do have to like completely isolate that person in an icy hellscape tundra.
I guess that's
them,
true.
You know, to force them to be in the idea that they're going to die twice, and then have your lieutenant constantly talking down to you and like telling you how essentially useless you are.
The fucking worst.
And,
I mean, that's true. You need him to suffer and go through like a crisis in order to grow as a character. But how do you create a crisis for a sociopath? Exactly like you said. Like that.
They figured it out.
Exactly.
They just like put that image and forced it into his face as much as possible.
You know, this episode really reminded me of the Honorable Ones in Rebels, the episode where Callus gets stranded with Zeb in that cave.
Yes, exactly.
We didn't get that kind of an interaction between characters here. Like,
well, that was like a frenemies thing. That was more of a frenemies thing.
Yes, but at the same time, this was very much an "Are we the baddies" episode.
Oh, that's true.
Like,
yeah, that's kind of true.
Like,
because what
was brought face to
Callus,
face with the realization of who he worked for, the same way Crosshair was in this episode. And I feel like the settings were very similar as well.
That's true.
You know, they were both snowy, really uninviting places where he was forced to take refuge. And man, seeing him huddled up against that other clone was just sad, man.
That was heartbreaking. That's very true. That was very difficult to see. Like he was fighting for his life to stay warm.
And like the fact that he made such a jump from the beginning of the episode, talk about I don't carry dead weight, you know, to the end where he went full on Samwise Gamgee trying to save this poor bastard's life that he had just met. Like
you just met for like 2 to 3 days, yeah.
But in that time, he grew to represent everything that Crosshair thought that he was too. You know, a good soldier that follows orders and was then just summarily discarded.
But what was also super interesting about Mayday was that he was also the first like normal clone that we've seen, aside from Rex, I suppose.
That's true.
That's treated the Bad Batch as equals. Like there's been a lot of you're Clone Force 99, you're a bunch of fucking weirdos.
Totally. There's been animosity, like straight up hazing and bullying, like the whole cafeteria scene in the first season. But now, I don't know. I feel like because the clones are losing so much and they're losing so much of their rights and being like moved away and decommissioned, that when they do see a familiar clone face, they're a little bit more friendly now, just because it's a rarer thing, you know?
Exactly. Also, shout out to giving us another clone with a full beard.
Yeah. No, he looked great, didn't he? And his armor was dope. The way he just had like phase 2 armor with like thermal wraps all over it and then wraps on the helmet. I expect to see some of those walking around Celebration. Well, this has been an excellent episode. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed our reactions to Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 12. This reaction was edited by Nerd Chronic down to 10 minutes of fair use for here on YouTube. But if you want to check out the full-length uncut version of this reaction, it's available on Patreon. There's a link in the description of the video to our Patreon page where you'll get full-length reactions, early access. You can participate in the content polls, and you get some Discord perks as well. Thanks again. And as always, may the Force be with you.